1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, I'm Josh Weinstein, one of the creators of the show.
I'm Bill Oakley, the other creator of the show.
Lauren McMullen, designer and supervising director.
Wallace Langham, the voice of Andy French.
Scott Menville, the voice of Kevin French.
So this is called Andy and Kevin Make a Friend. All the Mission Hill episodes have two different titles, a dirty one and a clean one. You can probably find them on the disc. Obviously, the network never used the dirty one, but it took a lot of time to make those up, and I don't know why in retrospect that was our idea, but
You can enjoy it now.
I always found it entertaining on the scripts.
Just a tiny dab like that. Now for the hills.
Palette knife or fan brush?
So this episode was written by Michael Paines, who you might recognize from playing himself in the movie The Anniversary Party, or a couple other commercials and movies that he's been in. Michael got this show to a degree that we really were pleased by. He made up a lot of the unusual dialogue that Ron, Andy's boss, said, like Habubadai and the strange language he spoke. He also made up a lot of the weird place names that appeared in Cosmopolis, like the Ronald Reagan Skywalk. This episode is about the competition between Kevin and Andy for George Bang's older sister, played by Lisa Kuchel.
And Michael Paines, I should point out, is also the Republican vampire in some episodes, right?
That's right.
That's a lot of the writers, we crammed our voices into the show as well.
Hey, Posey, you want to hang time?
Sure, get your stuff, we're late.
There's Vicki Lewis.
That's right.
Yeah. Who was adorable as Posey.
And also terrific as Natalie Leibowitz Hernandez.
Now, she's based on somebody that you know.
That's right. She is based on a woman that we've been friends with for some time, and her husband, who is not actually Mexican.
No more talking, starting now.
Take kindly to ultimatum's office. Fire orbital grenades.
Ah, Gwen.
The only characters that actually are made up from whole cloth in this show are Gus and Wally. But they were inspired by that famous tape, the Shut Up Little Man tape. Has anyone ever heard that? That was the two old gay guys who bicker a lot. It was inspired by that. Much like Moe on The Simpsons was inspired by the Tube Bar tape.
Also, Gus was partly inspired by our having to deal with Lawrence Tierney on The Simpsons, who was a huge, crazy, fun...
Yes, even though he looks like Ed Asner with no hair.
Hello, dear people.
And
Tor, what's his name, right?
Tor Johnson.
Yeah,
That's right.
Mix a little of that into the
Yeah.
design.
Which actually comes up.
Toby?
Yes, that's Toby's me.
Nerd yourselves to death while I'm gone.
What was Toby inspired by?
Oh, Toby was inspired by this crazy character on SATV, and he actually sort of looks like just like a giant 11-year-old. This is one of my favorite side stories. I think just Bill came up, I can't remember how he came up with it, but it's just...
Wasn't this a news story? Like somebody actually
There's
walked into an emergency room with
several stories like that with people getting crowbars or things shot through their head. Yes, and Gus is...
All imitators, real.
Yeah.
This was a great
Posers.
audition scene. As soon as these two guys did this together, we knew that we had to cast them, both Tom and Nick, who also do an amazing number of other voices on the show, but they really have quite a dynamic.
Andy, come on in.
Oh, here's Michael Paines. Right?
That's right,
There he
he's
is.
the Republican vampire.
Yeah.
I thought that was you. How you doing? Oh, hey.
I love his take on this.
Yeah, but my friends call me the Republican.
And the great thing about watching him record this is the weird gyrations and weirdness that he actually does
that's right.
while he's recording to get the...
It's sort of a Joe Cocker thing going in this.
That's right.
Totally.
So they're serving Gruberhoff at the goth party.
I follow Marilyn Manson, but I obey Rush Limbaugh. Dance with me, Andy.
Are there any particular stories about the design of the Republican vampire? Did you design the Republican vampire?
I think so. He's one of the early.
That's right.
We designed a lot of sort of odd street characters, and sometimes they sort of became characters later in the show with lines and stuff. So.
Exactly. Yeah, they were. Many of the characters were designed before we knew who they were or what they were going to do, and then they later got personalities. for instance, also Eunice Uhlmeyer, who inspired the whole was just that name. That was episode 10. All we had was the name, Eunice Uhlmeyer.
Right.
And the whole story and the design was created just based on that name and how that name would be fully executed.
Yeah, we wanted to design the one girl in school who's really tall and gawky, and the story is sort of tragic because she never turns out to be like a supermodel. She's always kind of gawky. I mean, once we made that one eye a wall eye,
That
her
was
fate was sealed.
the crowning glory of Eunice Uhlmeyer.
And I remember you guys looking at the design and like there was a beat of silence, and then you were like, her parents are really old. We were like, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't Mr. Uhlmeyer expire in one of his?
Yes, that was also Dave Thomas's voice, Eunice, Mr. Uhlmeyer. That was so funny.
And Jennifer Jason Leigh just rocked it as Eunice.
Yes, that was great. Our best guest star, or certainly our most famous
And she
guest
actually
star.
was friends with Michael Payne's.
That's right. That's how we got her.
Right.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
I love your flat delivery of George's dialogue.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever said that. And
That's my acting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No, but it's just so fantastic and clinical, and it really just suits George.
It serves his
perfectly.
personality, does, and it's
Absolutely.
also. I want to compliment Josh on his performance of Toby, which I.
Oh, thank you.
I think I said earlier in the pilot episode, but I just love when they show up, as we'll see for the comic convention thing, and George is R2D2. Beep boop
Beep,
is his
beep,
take on
boop.
it.
Lauren, would you like to tell us a little bit about the bubbles coming out from Andy's head and things of that nature?
Well, it kind of started in the desire to make the show more comic book-like and use sort of those comic book conventions and, like stink lines. And when people are drunk, you can tell because the bubbles are rising from their head. And it sort of grew from there and basically worked its way into the scripts to the point where, there were jokes built around dotted lines going to people's crotches. And the first one, I think, that was really... the second episode, I think there was a point where Andy meets Kevin's new teacher, and I think we had a heart drifting out of his pants.
Of his pants, yes.
And that was sort of a moment where we all realized, we want to use them, but use them in this particular way.
Right. We sort of parodied them, I guess.
Right. And there were like daggers, people looking daggers at each other. And
Nick Jameson, who plays Ron, had actually told me that I think he grew up in Greece, and he said a lot of Ron had a lot of these kind of Greek slang thrown into like his off the cuff.
Ron was a great character, and it was a shame that he had to pass on in episodes 8. But the idea was that every 8 episodes, Andrew was going to change jobs. And so he moved on. He might have come back in the future, of course, but he did disappear off to prison in episode 8.
Stinky here told me a lot about you.
And this is Lisa Kuchel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to reveal a secret. The laugh for Kevin French came from a drummer in a band that I was in for 10 years. I stole his laugh.
Would you do the laugh for us now?
Well, he laughed like, and so I just made it.
The character of Tina Bang is a unique amalgam of a woman that could appeal to both Andy and Kevin, and I don't think it was easy to come up with her. Also, her voice really had to be perfect, and Lisa, who did a lot, basically was sort of our utility player for female novelty characters, did a great job.
Especially
with
for
her.
the ones that either Andy or Kevin were interested in.
That's right.
Yeah, and
she also did the Chola Girls in episode 2.
Right, she did. That's right.
What's the big deal? Ain't you never seen a guy with a knife in his head?
The great thing I loved about watching Nick Jameson record was that he could switch so drastically between these two characters, between Gus and Ron, and they just sound so wildly different. Tom Kenny has the same ability as well. And for somebody who doesn't do this often, it was really always a treat.
It was. The records were like watching a really exciting radio show or a play or something.
Yes, nobody wanted to leave the record to go back to the boring office and have to write. So we'd often just sit there and go on and on and on with our own inside jokes. And some of them made it into the show.
Busted.
Oh, no, she can't talk. Dr. Clavius removed her voice adapter in issue 213. Read issue 213.
I love Kevin as the Uber fan. Because anybody who really does love the medium of comic books or graphic novels, anytime they go to a movie, it's always disappointing.
And I love that George never is without his backpack. Even sitting in the seats in the theater, he's got his backpack on.
Please note that Andy was actually asleep during the movie until a moment ago.
That's right, until she touched his
He really
hand.
doesn't care about anything having to do with the whole nerd world, which is why they're such a good pair. That's George's dad, who apparently is a Hawaiian Korean man, which originally designed for him was kind of a scrawny, nerdy man. And when we saw the animatic, it wasn't funny. It was like he looks like Kevin, actually. And so we spent actually several hours that night trying to come up with a different type.
Isn't that your allergy medicine?
And this big, loud, cigar-smoking, crass guy is the perfect counterpoint to George. And George is obviously embarrassed by him. I know, and later he says, my dad, in the Pie episode, he says, 620, yes, verbal, my dad could get that. And so that was a good character that didn't really have his chance to shine.
I remember you guys working with Nick Jameson quite a bit, because wasn't his original take on that character quite a bit different than what the voice actually ended up as?
I think he also did the nerdy voice, and then when we came back, we showed him a picture and said, how would this guy sound? And he created that voice.
You're gonna wear that thing?
Now, this story about the knife was one of the first things we had for the show. I believe when we made up the show, before we even had a story or a script for any episodes, we just loved the idea of them bickering about Gus not wanting to take a knife out of his head. Interesting note about that. Those things behind them, the toreador and the Spanish...
The matador.
Yes, the matador, whatever. Those are from the Dick Van Dyke Show. This is a reference that almost nobody ever got. But Dick Van Dyke was I think it was a show that Rob and Laura had to sleep in different beds because on TV it was not allowed for a man and a woman to be seen in a double bed. And so our reference was, here are two gay men in a bed together, so let's put those things up behind them. And I believe at one point during the production of the show, the guy who actually played Richie, Dick Van Dyke's son, was working at one of the post facilities and recognized that and got a huge kick out of it. Anyway, a TV reference, like many of the thousands of references in this show that nobody ever got. But now's your chance to enjoy them.
As an actor, I loved being able to do all the Ministry of Silly Walks.
I've never slept next to a girl before, but I assure you I'm a perfect gentleman.
It's okay, Kevin. I trust you.
I think the good thing, one of the good things about this story is I actually feel kind of bad for Kevin here. I think it really works emotionally that the nerdy guys always think that women are going to fall in love with them
if they're gentlemen.
Right, if they're gentlemen and they don't do anything other than just be a gentleman. They don't even indicate, he never even really indicates that he likes her in that way, not that he'd have a chance. But here, and then Andy doesn't seem to do anything to get her, but here she is coming out of his bedroom.
And obviously, he's built her up in his mind to be some amazing woman.
How's it going?
Boop, deet, deet. There it was.
I love that.
The eyebrow lift.
Woo! Agent Mulder from the X-Files.
Oh yes. You look just like her.
Well done, Vicky.
Andy, who are you going as?
A treacherous, perverted backstabber?
Oh, also, Kevin thinks everything having to do with sex is perverted. That's one thing about his personality that was there from day one, is that anytime there's a mention of sex or anything having to do with reproduction, it's perverted to him, and that's his biggest insult.
Kevin, that's really sweet.
Do you even know who Geordie LaForge?
I think you guys said you couldn't say masturbation, or you could only say it so many times. So you guys got creative with different ways for him to talk about pleasuring himself, and it actually worked better for the character. Yeah.
You went for the word manipulated. Right?
Yes, I was manipulating myself.
I was manipulating.
And you were kind of happier with that because that's really what Kevin would have said.
That's right. He wouldn't have used the term masturbation. He would make up a more clinical term.
Ow!
Stop fussing.
Fussing. So much fussing, you'll wish you'd never been born.
Yeah, when Nick and Tom were in the studio together doing Gus and Wally, it was always a treat because they would escalate each other.
They would work off each other. Another episode that we'll be doing commentary on has some great Gus and Wally stuff.
Which was the episode where Andy buys the organ from the mall?
That was 8. That was when he gets fired. He spends all the money right before he gets fired.
I just remember Tom Kenny had Brian Posehn in tears when he was singing as his character Wally, singing "Shall Be Coming Around."
Oh yes, that's funny. Brian Posehn, by the way, is Jim, who's not here recording today with us, but he also provided a brilliant. He provided a brilliant voice for that character, which is very much like his own voice, but a slight variation on it that just really says Jim.
Come on, who wants an autograph? You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm just a woman.
That's another great sound effect, is the wobbly metal saw.
It's the saw, yeah. It's somebody playing saw. Yeah, that was a great. I remember we spent a long time trying to find the perfect sound effect for that, and we finally did.
What the hell did you do to me?
You're too much of a stubborn old ox to get rid of that knife. Maybe the prospect of
I love the menorah on the top of it all.
your mind. All that fuss.
I think it's lit.
Never.
The detail of each of the neighbors' apartments was always fascinating for me to look at as well, because everybody really had their own microcosm of what their time frame or their generation or what have you was going on.
It was very carefully designed, and that was also Carlos and Natalie, who never really got the episode that was... There was actually an episode almost entirely written by Dan McGrath that was all about them, but we finally decided that it would be best to put that in like number 16 or 17 or 19 position, and of course those never got made. But Carlos and Natalie, the neighbors, were very unique as well. Carlos Hernandez Leibowitz and Natalie Leibowitz Hernandez and their multicultural Jewish Hispanic family.
Maybe it's time to take that knife out?
Who was I kidding?
A sad moment for a character whose motto was, "What the hell are you looking at?"
Well, Gus has that syndrome that so many people, especially older people, have, where they won't go to the doctor no matter what, because they'll find something wrong with you.
Something wrong with you, yeah. Yeah, might be a knife in your head.
Hello, I'm George Lucas.
It's great, and it was actually say it was George Lucas.
But please welcome my friend, Jimmy Briskin from the film.
I love Tom Kenny doing this Jimmy Briskin
Now you'll
stuff.
notice the voice sounds very familiar. This was before SpongeBob started, but just listen to his voice.
Listen to Jimmy Briskin, and you may see his spiritual ancestor.
Thank you, George. I'm Jimmy Briskin. You might know me better as Ewok Villager number
Now, Tom is not here. I don't know if he wants us giving away his trade secrets, but this sure does sound a lot like SpongeBob.
At the time, it had us wetting ourselves because it was so funny.
You snake in the grass. What's wrong with
Yeah, this was a great scene. Oh my God! And people just couldn't stop laughing about Jimmy Briskin and imitating Jimmy Briskin. Much,
I
much
think
to
I
our
did it for like
distress.
4 weeks, and I was trying to tell people how funny this was and try to do the voice, and just my friends would like, "Oh, that's great."
But we appreciated it.
Exactly.
It was funny for us.
It's always great in the book.
There's a great Jimmy Briskin line where he talks about we sang and danced until Mr. Lucas blew the whistle signaling us to stop, and we all took a bus back to Studio City or whatever.
You remember that line word for word in there. There it is. It's amazing. But this is, I spend a lot of time at those. Not that I'm a sci-fi fan, but I do like to go buy like old weird horror movie magazines and stuff. So I went to a lot of these conventions.
girlfriend? I'm in love with her.
You gotta be. Oh, man.
Any more?
There's a certain group of people from Star Wars who are at every convention signing autographs, and they're always the people that you don't remember. And I think there was an Ewok or two.
No, Ewoks don't do things like that.
Kevin, listen. She's not your girlfriend just because you like her. She has to like you.
I love how Kevin has to wrap his own morality into a Star Wars type of framework to try to get Andy to understand him and to listen to him.
Sing and clap. Yub nub. Chop chop.
Now, I believe this is based on the song.
It's
by
our legally clearable lyrics.
I remember you guys coaching us to get it right as we all sang the yub nub chop chop.
Choppity chop chop chew. Now, this is a brilliantly staged and executed scene. Lauren, do you have anything to tell us about this scene?
This was directed by Michael Kim. He did an excellent job.
Time to work my magic.
Kevin, no woman on Earth has that much time.
Halt! FBI!
Oh, crap!
You can't go into the employees-only zone.
That's also Tom Kenny. There's Darth Vader right there, and there was a lot in George Lucas and so forth.
You got your Batman stuff, yeah.
You'll see that the snack bar is the Mos Eisley Cantina back there in the background.
Oh, yeah.
This is really well animated here, the fight scene, too.
Kevin?
George just said what's happening.
Or you're gonna get
For those of you who couldn't hear it.
Punish me.
my God.
Now this, I remember, this was a subject of a rewrite, of multiple rewrites, this area right here, because it had to be crystal clear that you didn't know who she was talking to. And fortunately, since she was wearing the Geordie LaForge things over her eyes, you could not tell who she was looking at. But she had to say a lot of things that were both good and bad to both of them, and I think we finally got it right here.
And I think we also added the line of George saying he couldn't tell who she was
That's
talking
right.
to.
We
to make
added
it
that
perfectly
cutaway to
clear.
George, so saying exactly what was supposed to be implied.
What are you saying bye for? She was talking to me.
No, she wasn't. She was talking to me.
You're insane. She was looking right at me.
And I mean, the whole theme of this show of just that misinterpretation of what one person that you're interested in and how each of them interprets it their own way.
Interestingly, we tried to leave it so that it really wasn't clear to the viewer, because even though apparently she did make out with Andy, she still didn't like his childish behavior. So it really isn't clear who she liked and who she didn't like.
This is one of the best reveals ever.
Yeah.
Jeremy, get in the car. You're going to be late for the orthodontist.
That's brilliant.
It's so true, isn't it?